The story begins on Elkarisnine, a harsh volcanic planet located on the fringes of known galactic space. For centuries, the planet was deemed geologically unstable and scientifically unremarkable until a team of Zelari archaeologists, a reptilian species known for their obsession with ancient civilizations, discovered something buried deep beneath its crust. While conducting a standard planetary scan, metallic structure, hidden beneath 60 meters of volcanic ash, basalt, and compacted sediment. This formation, dubbed the Obsidian Vault, was unlike anything cataloged in known alien architecture. Its alloy composition was unreadable to their instruments. It reflected scans, absorbed energy, and gave off no signs of power or activity. The structure was enormous, circular in shape, like a domed bunker, but its surface bore no seams, doors, or openings. It looked inert, lifeless. The team assumed it was a religious or ceremonial structure, a remnant from a lost pre-spacefaring species. It quickly became the center of Zelari's scientific interest, with researchers flown in from across the quadrant to investigate. Political figures began to show interest too, sensing prestige in being connected to such a unique find. They were unaware that the vault had not been forgotten. It had been deliberately erased from historical record. The Zelari began excavation, setting up a research base and deploying atmospheric stabilizers. Initial efforts to open the structure failed. Plasma cutters melted against its surface, and sonic drills were rendered inert. Frustrated but undeterred, the team used nanodisruptors to slice a controlled microchannel into the side of the vault. That was their first mistake. The moment the breach was made, the vault reacted not overtly but subtly. Several dig site systems began to glitch. Power levels flickered. Gravity sensors showed tiny anomalies, oscillating as if some unseen force pulsed within the core of the structure. The phenomena were dismissed as electromagnetic interference caused by ancient shielding. Then the first serious incident occurred. Researcher Yalari, a bright young Zelari with neural interface implants, attempted a direct scan of the inner wall. Upon contact, she convulsed violently and collapsed. Her body spasmed as if caught between dimensional states. She screamed in a language no one recognized, her voice layered with strange mechanical overtones. Her implants burned out instantly. She woke up. She could not speak. Instead, she scribbled disturbing images, scenes of war, desolation, machines cloaked in ash and steel, and a planet aflame. Alongside them, in the forgotten script of old Earth, she wrote one phrase repeatedly: "Protocol Dominion remains. Unbroken. Awaiting signal. Awaiting war." This shook the team. Some called for immediate evacuation. Others, hungry for glory, insisted it was a psychic echo, a data residue from the structure's former inhabitants. Head researcher Vorax, ambitious and arrogant, was the loudest voice advocating continued exploration. To him, this was a priceless artifact, a piece of technological divinity. Containment protocols were the remnants of paranoid war cultures, he claimed. What threat could possibly endure for 7 centuries beneath the crust of a dead world? Then the vault changed. Without warning, its outer walls began shifting. Not like doors or panels, but like clockwork gears, reconfiguring themselves in perfect geometric rhythm. Strange symbols appeared, glowing faintly human symbols, though the Zellar didn't yet know it. Each rune etched itself onto the surface. With impossible precision, the vault was adapting, reacting. It wasn't inert, it was aware. One xenolinguist, cross-referencing the symbols, uncovered a link in an ancient Terran database long believed obsolete. After days of decoding, she translated the main glyph as Earth Protocol 900A. Containment complete. Threat secured. Do not reopen. This shook the team. Suddenly it wasn't just a relic, it was a prison. More questions began to arise. Who built it? What did it contain? Why had Earth sealed it, and then erased all records of it? More importantly, why was it waking up now? In their arrogance and curiosity, Zelari had triggered something that had waited patiently for 700 years, not dormant, but vigilant. The vault wasn't reacting to them because it feared exposure. It was reacting because the thing inside sensed freedom, and it was ready. The second part of the story escalates the tension surrounding the obsidian vault, now partially open and visibly changing. The ancient structure begins to show signs that it's not merely a remnant of a long-dead civilization, it's a living system, reacting to its environment and reawakening. After the translation of the human warning etched into its surface, Earth Protocol 900A, containment complete. Threat secured. Do not reopen unease spreads throughout the excavation team. Some researchers begin to question whether they have made a terrible mistake. But Vorax, the head archaeologist, continues to dismiss the warnings. He insists the phrase is symbolic or metaphorical, perhaps tied to long-extinct religious beliefs or exaggerated fears from a militaristic past. But the vault continues to change. Rhythmic tremors begin to ripple through the dig site, almost like a heartbeat thudding deep beneath the earth. Seismic readings can't identify the source. It's not tectonic. Pulses are mechanical, timed, and perfectly consistent. The deeper the researchers dig, the louder and stronger the pulses become. As if responding to their movements simultaneously, strange audio frequencies begin emanating from the vault. At first, they're dismissed as noise-low, guttural vibrations that scramble communications and cause nausea in anyone within a certain range. But upon further analysis, it becomes clear the vault is transmitting something, not just sound, but coded signals. These signals are layered, encrypted with waveforms to advance for Zelari decryption tech. The vault is broadcasting, but not. To them, the team's engineers isolate fragments of the signal and discover something chilling it's riding on quantum band frequencies, the kind used in long-range Terran Warrera communications. Not only that, but the signal is self-replicating and piggybacking off of deep space probes, bouncing across relay satellites and transmitting far beyond LCAR is -9. It's calling something worse yet. The vault is not just broadcasting. It's interfacing with the planet. Atmospheric readings begin to change. There's a gradual rise in radiation signatures that mimic those of advanced pre-engagement. Tarun war systems power buildup before the deployment of orbital defense arrays. The ecosystem around the vault starts to warp slightly. Flora wilts. Small fauna disappear. The energy is toxic, but it's selective, only affecting living organisms in unpredictable non-chemical ways. It's as if the planet itself is reacting to the vault being online. In the control tent, Zelari, linguist. Celix continues to study the strange symbols now forming in patterns across the vault's surface. She realizes something terrifying. The messages aren't just warnings. They are directives. They speak in conditional commands, emergency overrides, and lockdown codes. The vault isn't a structure. It's an automated command system, a Terran. Fortress sealed with self-aware protocols. And then something even more disturbing occurs. A drone deployed inside the vault malfunctions and crashes, and a second drone sent to recover it picks up a heat signature. Deep in the core of the vault, beneath all the steel and reinforced carbon lattice, plating something is moving. The heat pattern resembles a biological entity, encased in a cryostasis chamber, or perhaps suspended in a form of temporal lock. The life signs are faint, but unmistakable. And the energy signature around it is immense, comparable to a mobile war core. Celix sounds the alarm. Whatever is inside the vault isn't dead. It never was. It's just been waiting. The vault begins. Forming a new message, larger than any before. Etches the phrase across the entire outer shell in glowing red glyphs. Release forbidden. Class Red threat containment in effect. Breach will initiate countermeasure awakening. The Council is notified immediately. The planetary governor halts excavation and issues a partial lockdown. Scientists are forced to admit that the vault may not be a tomb or a temple, it may be a prison, and they may be moments away from opening it entirely. Fear spreads. Some of the Zelari researchers argue for resealing the vault permanently. Others, still captivated by the promise of ancient Terran tech, pushed to extract whatever's inside for study. After all, to them, humanity vanished centuries ago, exclusive, primitive, and overreaching. Surely any weapon they left behind has aged into irrelevance. They underestimate Earth. In a final act of desperation, Relic sends the signal back to Earth. Any Terrans still exist. They need to know what the Zelari have found. Her message is simple. Obsidian vault breached. Lifeform detected. Transmission active. Please advise. Hours later, a single reply returns from the far edges of Terran space. Seal it, or we will. The message isn't signed. No coordinates. No emblem. Just a cold, direct statement. The vault wasn't sleeping. It was standing watch. The events of Part 3 mark a dramatic turning point in the story. The mystery of the Obsidian Vault has grown far beyond an archaeological curiosity. It has now become a threat, a relic that pulses with forgotten power, sends encrypted quantum signals into deep space, and contains a life form sealed by a 700-year-old directive from Earth itself, the Zelari. Researchers, especially linguists, are sad, gripped by the realization that they may have awakened something far beyond their understanding. The translated warnings on the vault are no longer dismissed as superstition or metaphor. The phrase, class-red threat containment, keeps appearing in Terran-coded glyphs. To the Galactic Council, that classification is the most severe used. Only once before in the ancient Terran archives, the name attached to that classification was the Warborn Seed. That was enough for the Council to act. Despite Earth's silence for centuries, diplomatic channels were reopened. A signal was sent directly to Terran space, and shockingly, they responded. Not with a fleet or diplomats, but with a single message: seal it, or we will. Before the Zelari or the Council could fully react, a ship entered orbit above Elkaris 9. It was unlike any modern vessel, ancient in appearance. Black as the void, built with angles and alloy compositions that baffled sensors. It bore no insignia, no lights, and responded to no hails. The ship's power signature was nearly undetectable, but the moment it entered the system, the vault's pulse intensified. The vault recognized it. From the ship descended a single human figure, clad in black. Exosuit armor laced with glowing amber seams, the human looked like a relic of war. Their presence caused tension among the Zelari military and research crews, who had never seen a Terran in person. The figure introduced herself as Commander Lyra Rose, her voice cold, her tone measured. She requested no formal welcome. She ignored the planetary governor. She went straight to the vault. Standing before the massive structure, she stared in silence for a long moment. Then she placed her palm against the outer wall, and the vault responded instantly. The red glyphs faded, replaced with blue patterns, as though identifying her as an authorized user. The Zelari were stunned. Commander Kavros had access. It's not only that she had control, Vorax, still holding on to the belief that the vault could be studied and contained by non-Terrans, approached her with arrogance. He demanded to know what was inside. He spoke of academic rights, council authority, and archaeological preservation. Kavros didn't raise her voice. She simply replied, "This isn't a tomb. It's a failsafe, and you breached it." The vault began to open, this time not with force, but through precision. The outer wall folded back like interlocking shields. Beneath it was a chamber bathed in red mist, glowing softly from embedded energy veins. At its center stood a sarcophagus, upright, tall, humanoid, in shape made from a carbon metal composite never seen before. The moment the inner chamber was fully exposed, sarcophagus hissed, vents steaming as internal systems activated. Terran runes scrolled rapidly across its face. The energy readings spiked inside it. Figures stirred. The Zelari fell silent. From within the pod emerged a human male, taller than expected, heavily muscled, with dark skin traced by bioluminescent veins and neural ports etched into his flesh. His body bore the marks of extreme augmentation, both cybernetic and genetic. He wasn't just armored, he was engineered. His eyes opened slowly, and when they did, they shimmered with shifting colors. He stepped forward without hesitation, unbothered by the weight of time or the awestruck alien eyes around him. Kavros knelt before him not out of worship, but protocol. The Zalari's translators struggled to comprehend his words, but the human linguists understood immediately. Threat level. Unknown, Commander Kavros replied, standing beside him. But the galaxy forgot you. Then they're unprepared. The figure was not a remnant of the past. He was part of Earth's final contingency, a unit called Warden Zero. Deployed in the last days of the Outer War, a being trained and modified to survive millennia, sealed away to awaken only in the gravest of circumstances. What the vault contained wasn't simply knowledge or technology. It held a living weapon. A human whose memories, skills, and instincts had been sharpened to deal with threats the rest of the galaxy had never imagined, and now that weapon was awake. As the Warden surveyed the vault's inner systems, new warnings began flashing. The energy signals sent by the vault earlier had reached their destination. Something had answered from the edge of known space, a signal pulsed by Kalian, ancient and hostile. Kavros turned to the Zalari. The fourth part of the story reveals the full truth behind the Obsidian Vault and the devastating consequences of waking what was sealed inside. With Warden Zero now awake, and Commander Lyra Kavros coordinating the defense of Elkaris 9, the situation shifts from scientific curiosity to full-scale crisis. The vault was never meant to be found, let alone opened. The alien researchers, especially Vorax, finally begin to grasp the enormity of their mistake. Warden Zero is not just a soldier. He is the product of ancient Terran desperation. Created during the final days of the Outer War, he represents the peak of Earth's darkest bioengineering. Part human, part machine, and part something else, enhanced with tech so advanced it verges on the mythological. His body is a walking weapon platform. His brain stores tactical algorithms, language matrices, and threat response libraries drawn from thousands of years of warfare. More importantly, he remembers what they fought, remembers what Earth sealed away, the Vault's original purpose wasn't to contain the Warden, he was the containment. The true threat was something far older and ancient. Predatory alien species known in Terran records only as the Valara. Hive-minded, impossible to communicate with, incapable of devouring entire biospheres. The Valara nearly ended life in the Orion Arm. When traditional weapons failed, Earth deployed the Warden's individuals so modified they no longer fit standard biological classification. Most died in battle. Some, like Zero, were locked away stored near suspected Valara nest worlds in case the threat ever returned. LKR's-9 was one of those worlds. The Zalari had unknowingly built their excavation site on top of a dormant Valara node. By opening the vault, they had triggered the very thing Earth feared most, Valara resurgence. As Zero interfaces with the vault systems, red warning glyphs shift into rapid tactical feeds. Thousands of data threads scroll in his mind as he scans atmospheric changes, seismic fluctuations, and deep core resonance patterns. The conclusion is instant and absolute. The Valara are waking up. He doesn't panic. He moves with purpose, Commander. Kavros contacts the Terran Black Natan encrypted wartime relay system dormant for centuries, but still functional. A planetary defense AI is activated. From her vessel orbiting above, she drops automated defense, drones ancient, dangerous, and still far more advanced than anything the modern Galactic Council possesses. The Zalari scientists watch in awe and horror. The humans are deploying technology from 700 years ago that still outclasses their most advanced systems. On the planet's surface, ground begins to quake not from tectonic movement, but from massive biological burrowing beneath. The crust. The Valara are emerging. The first strike comes swift and terrible. A Valara assault pod breaches the surface 100 kilometers from the dig site. What emerges is no simple beast, it's a towering fusion of organic horror and alien machinery. Zalari soldiers open fire, but their plasma weapons do nothing. Their defenses fall in seconds. Then Warden Zero arrives. He moves faster than any living creature should. His armor morphs into adaptive configurations. Microdrones detach from his back, forming a barrier that absorbs and redirects Valara energy. Blasts. He doesn't fight like a warrior, he fights like an ecosystem of death, every movement precise, each counterattack fatal. Within minutes, the creature is reduced to molten slag. The Zelari watch, speechless. The creature that killed 50 of their best troops didn't even scratch the warden. But Zero doesn't stop. He races toward the next impact site, then the next. Wherever Valara breach, he is there, already moving, already fighting. Commander. Kavoros takes control of the Zelari base, forcibly assuming command under Terran war law. She links her ship's AI to the vault and begins deploying orbital defenses hidden within the dig site massive planetary autocannons, camouflaged as geological structures, built centuries ago, waiting to be reactivated. Celix, the linguist, begins to understand the vault wasn't just a prison or storage chamber, it was a bunker, command post, and a sensor relay. Earth had buried an entire defense grid on Elka is -9, and now that grid was back online. As Valara's ships begin emerging, from the edge of the system, dozens of them, Kavaros coordinates a counterstrike. Human weapons rain down from orbit, precisely targeted. Where they hit, Valara ships vaporize midair. Where the warden strikes, entire biological clusters melt. Still, the Valara are adapting. They evolve mid-battle. One of them breaks through. The perimeter. The warden is struck. He bleeds, but he does not fall. He smiles. They remember me, he says. Good. Back in the Council's distant chamber, emergency footage from Elkaris 9 arrives. Council species stare in stunned silence at the impossible scenes, one human facing down an army of monsters. One soldier tearing through an extinctional-level threat like it's routine. They ask each other, how did Earth create this? Why did they leave it behind? They don't realize the most important part. Earth didn't leave the warden behind. It placed him there. Just in case. Part 5 brings the climax of the story, the revelation that Earth's silence was never weakness, but a calculated decision rooted in strategy, sacrifice, and terrifying foresight. Elkaris 9 is now a war zone. The Valara, the ancient apex predator, species once believed extinct, have returned, woken by the Zelari's excavation and the vault's activation. They are pouring up from beneath the surface and descending from orbit in terrifying waves. Their ships are semi-organic horrors, living, weapons pulsing with red bioluminescence, shaped by bioforges, immune to standard plasma and particle weaponry. Entire sectors of the dig site are overrun in minutes, but Earth's contingency is fully online. Now Commander Lyra Kavros commands from orbit, coordinating the revived Terran planetary defense systems that had remained dormant for centuries beneath. The surface of Elkarisnine. These aren't modern weapons. They are legacy supertech systems, built during the last stage of total war. They consist of self-assembling kill satellites, railgun nodes, hidden in bedrock, and antimatter traps disguised. As harmless terrain, and leading the ground war, is Warden Zero. Where he walks, Valara die. He is no longer simply a soldier. He is a memory-given form, Earth's wrath incarnate. His armor has adapted mid-battle, now forming exoskeletal wings and energy blades. His skin gleams with reactivated nanoplating, and his blood infused. With engineered microized repairs, tissue damage faster than the Valara can injure him. He's not just fighting back, he's winning. The Warden's actions buy time for the orbital weapons to activate. One by one, Earth's long-buried weapons come online, lighting the sky with fire. High above, the Black Terran vessel begins broadcasting again, this time in open channels. Its message: containment response complete. Reacquisition of planetary control initiated. Non-Terran forces advised to evacuate. The Galactic Council receives the transmission and is stunned. Until now, Earth had been thought of as a reclusive, post-war civilization, isolated, technologically stagnant, more myth than threat. But this message shatters that illusion. Earth was not silent because it was defeated or humbled. Earth was watching, waiting, preparing across the system. Valara forces begin to retreat, but not before unleashing a final wave of biomatter, planet-wide infection designed to corrupt ecosystems and convert planetary life into more Valara spawn. The Zalari panic. Their scientists estimate extinctional-level contamination within days, but Warden Zero has already initiated a final protocol, cleanse signal. He plunges into the deepest pit of the infestation, carrying with him a weapon even Kavros doesn't fully understand. It's a core igniter device once banned by the Terran Council, capable of emitting a dimensional frequency purge that annihilates non-native bioforms while preserving planet structure. Smart apocalypse. The Zelari plead with Kavros to stop him. He'll die, they cry. Kavros replies coldly, he was never meant to live. Warden Zero reaches the Valara hive root and activates the device. There's a sudden, blinding pulse, not an explosion, but a reset. Space bends. Time slows. For one frozen second, all energy in the region goes silent. Then nothing. When vision returns, the infestation is gone. The Valara are ash. The tunnels are empty. The sky's clear. Warden Zero is nowhere to be seen. Celix, still recovering from the chaos, stares at the newly calmed land and whispers, he ended it alone. Kavros kneels by the edge of the blast zone, placing a Terran insignia marker in the ground of memorial. She then turns to the Zalari. Earth doesn't forget, okay, and we never leave our weapons where they can't reach the enemy. The Terran vessel reclaims the now silent vault, folding its walls back into place. Kavros boards the ship. The Warden's remains, or whatever is left of him, are sealed inside. As the Terran ship departs, the Galactic Council scrambles to interpret what just happened. The official report is simple and chilling. The vault was not a relic. It was an active Terran containment system, housing an operational bioweapon unit. A Valara resurgence was triggered by unauthorized alien interference. Earth responded within strategic parameters. The threat was eliminated. No assistance was requested. None was required. Council species hold emergency meetings. News spreads across the stars, and a single truth takes hold. Earth never lost its war technology. It buried it. It never abandoned its guardians. It stationed them, and it never fell silent out of weakness. Earth chose silence because when it speaks, the galaxy burns. The last line of the Council's classified transcript reads, "What they unearthed wasn't dead. It was waiting." And now, the galaxy will never sleep quite the same again.